Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective. In this video, I'll be doing my predictions for AEW All Out. So first up, we know that we're getting a fatal 4-way match for the Continental Championship, where Kazuchika Okada will face 3 other competitors that will be determined on Collision on Friday. The matches, I think, are Orange Cassidy versus Brian Keith, Lance Archer versus Mark Briscoe, and the Beast Mortos versus Kenosuke Takeshita. For me, I feel like as a kind of extra predictions, the matches on Friday, I think we'll get Cassidy, Briscoe, and Takeshita getting into the match. And the Fatal 4-Way itself, I'm unsure about. I feel like Okada is probably the safest option to go with. I feel like he's most likely going to retain just to keep all the gold in the Elite. But at the same time, I feel like Takeshita should be a champion in AEW, and I feel like though it wouldn't look great having Okada be the only person who's not a champion, he can quite easily go and target another championship and put on some banger matches. For example, you could go for the International Championship and we can get a feud between Ospreay or Pac versus Okada, which would be very good. But I think as much as I want Takeshita to be a champion, and he probably should have been a champion by now, I am going to go with Okada to get to retain here and kind of keep his title reign going and seeing kind of where that heads. He's been defending a lot more recently compared to when he first won it, but yeah, I feel like it's going to be a really fun Fatal 4-Way match. They've got a lot of people in there who's going to keep this match action-packed throughout, so yeah, it's a match I'm looking forward to, and like a nice surprise match that I don't think people even considered we were going to get. Following that, we have the street fight for the CML Womens Championship, I think, where we have Willow Nightingale facing Chris Statlander in a match that is probably going to be the feud ender, I assume, for this. It's a match I'm very much looking forward to. These two can 100% deliver in street fights, so yeah, it's a match that I think is going to go down really well. For me, I'm going with Willow Nightingale to win and retain her CMLL Championship, just because I can't see AEW changing hands of a belt that isn't theirs. Pretty much, it is a very tough call to make. I think if it wasn't for a championship, I'd be very torn between them both. Personally, I want Statlander to win. I'm a bigger fan of Statlander than I am Willow. But yeah, for me, I just can't see AEW changing a championship hands just on their own pay-per-view, especially like CMML as well. Like, it's not like New Japan where it's a close-knit relationship. It seems like CMML aren't that close with AEW compared to New Japan. So where New Japan belts have changed hands, like Naito winning off Moxley or Omega winning off, I don't know, Omega was in Japan. Well, then it'd be Ospreay winning off Omega then. But either way, I feel like Willow will retain here, and I feel like we probably should leave this feud alone now and kind of have them do separate stuff. Especially Statlander, she needs to like re-establish herself as a top heel and kind of, I don't want to say ditch Stokely Hathaway, but kind of the funny stuff with Stokely Hathaway I would say needs to stop, so then Statlander can be taken more seriously as a heel. Next up, we have the Young Bucks defending the Tag Team Championships against the Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. In a match that should be decent, I expect that these four put on an absolute banger match, but I don't know, the Young Bucks have been kind of off recently. I know that they kind of were the main part of the triple threat match at All In, and you know, the Blackpool Combat Club have recently won the trios titles, but again, it's a match that I feel like is very much thrown together and very much a way to get the Young Bucks on a card that is in Chicago. But I feel like, again, it's going to be a decent match. I can't see much being very much wrong with it. But for me, I'm going to go with the Young Bucks to retain, just because I can't see them dropping the titles anytime soon, and I want to keep all of the titles in the Elite. And if anything, the first person that might drop their title within the Elite is probably Jack Perry. So therefore, the Young Bucks are just going to keep retaining, and they'll probably cheat and use some shithousery way to retain those championships. But yeah, I feel like, again, very predictable match. You know, it was only thrown together last night. We didn't really get any other build apart from Claudio challenging them and then Tony Khan making the match. The Bucks didn't even accept or decline the match. But yeah, I said, should be an alright match. But for me, Young Bucks to retain 100%. After that, we have MJF taking on Daniel Garcia in a match that I assume will be very explosive, and a match that I'm very much looking forward to. I feel like the promo on Dynamite that we had last night was incredible from Daniel Garcia, and yeah, I feel like for me, I would probably have Daniel Garcia win here, as I feel like it would help him more than a win for MJF. I know that means MJF would have to lose twice in 2 pay-per-views, but MJF can very quickly recover from that, especially as like one of the top heels in the company. And whereas Daniel Garcia, this would help massively, especially towards a push towards a championship, and hopefully, his first championship as a singles guy. And yeah, I just feel like more positives come out of this match for fans and for Daniel Garcia and for AEW as a whole, with Daniel Garcia getting the win here. And yeah, I feel like this is one of the better built matches of the card. They teased it just before All In when MJF took out Garcia. Now they're bringing it to a head here, and these guys are going to absolutely beat the shit out of each other, and I can't wait to see it go down. So again, match I'm very much looking forward to, but I've got Daniel Garcia to get the win here. Next up, we have the TBS Championship match where Mercedes Moné will defend against Hikaru Shida in a match that I think will be okay. I'm not expecting anything particularly special. I feel like it definitely has to be better than the Britt Baker match. But for me, 100% Mercedes Moné wins and retains here. I can't see Shida taking the title from her. Obviously, it was only a few weeks ago that we had this match on Dynamite, so I don't know what they're going to do differently, or whether this was the plan originally and that they were just holding back in that match. But I feel like Shida's going to do a great job at kind of testing Moné and taking it to the limit. With Camille banned from ringside, I wonder whether we kind of have someone else come in to help Mercedes Moné, and they kind of add to this group that Mercedes seems to be building, or whether it's just a case of Mercedes does it on her own and proves that she can be by herself, or have Camille by her side. But either way, I feel like it's going to be a decent match. But yeah, I have absolutely no doubts in the world. It's probably the easiest match to predict on the card that Mercedes Moné is 100% winning here and retaining the TBS Championship. After that, we have Will Ospreay defending the International Championship against Pac in a match that I expect to be probably one of the better matches of the year. I feel like it's going to be one of the best matches on the card, and just an absolute banger match between these two. I feel like they're going to have great chemistry from the get-go. I assume they've probably met on the independent circuit at some point. I would assume anyway. If not, it's very surprising if these two are meeting for the first time. It's a match I was excited about when I thought we were going to get it at All In. I was excited about it when I predicted it to happen at All In. Now we're getting it. I can't wait. I feel like it's going to be one of the better matches of the year for AEW, or at least I predict it would be that way anyway. And the build's been pretty decent as well. I know it's been a lot of Pac just taking out Ospreay, but that would then suggest that Ospreay's probably going to get the win. It makes sense that Ospreay would also get the win just because Pac is already a champion, and Ospreay is doing a pretty good job of making the international title feel prestigious once again after the great run that Orange Cassidy had. It kind of went on a bit of a low point, but I think Ospreay is slowly building that back up again with matches with MJF and Pac and others. I can't remember, nothing comes to mind, sorry. But yeah, I say it is what I'm very much looking forward to, and yeah, as I said, Will Ospreay to retain here, I think. After that, and what I assume will be the main event, even though I feel like, again, it probably shouldn't be, we have Bryan Danielson defending the AEW World Championship against Jack Perry in a match I'm not particularly interested in. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think Jack Perry would be the first contender for Bryan's championship. I know he kind of did like an open challenge type, anyone who wants to come out and challenge, come and do it. It makes sense why it's Jack Perry, you know, with him getting the pin over Danielson at Anarchy in the Arena. But for me, I just don't. The issue is like that you don't want matches that are too predictable, and this is way too predictable, which is Danielson is 100% winning, 100% retaining. Will he get to the end of the night with the championship? Yeah, I don't think Christian Cage is going to do anything here. I think Christian Cage is going to bide his time, kind of wait. We've not seen him since All In anyway. So I feel like he's going to kind of lay into the background and come out when everyone is least expecting it. Therefore, yeah, Danielson will just retain. I feel like it's very shithousery of AEW to kind of have Jack Perry in the main event match in a pay-per-view that's in Chicago, especially with all the CM Punk stuff and all that. It's clever because it's going to be funny, and you know that Jack Perry is going to play to the crowd a lot. But at the same time, it's like, couldn't we get someone else? Like, could Nigel McGuinness not taking this spot? But I feel like it's going to be a decent match. I think it's going to be a moment for Jack Perry to really show how much he's improved in the ring and how much like he is like kind of the pillar of AEW. We still refer to them as that. And yeah, it's going to be decent. It's just a match that I think has not had a great build. And as I said, because it's so predictable, it kind of, for me, loses that kind of interest. But either way, I hope they change my mind and that it's an absolutely fantastic match. But yeah, for me, Danielson retains 110%. And finally, the match that I think should 100% be in the main event slot, you have Swerve Strickland taking on Hangman Adam Page in a steel cage match. And man, this build overall has been one of the best in AEW. I put it up there with Hangman and Kenny Omega. But like just the build from All In to All Out has been fantastic. Like, it's probably the best built match to this point, with Daniel Garcia and MJF coming at a close second. But the promo last week from Swerve to Hangman was fantastic, and last night's segment was just perfect. The whole setting Swerve's childhood house on fire and all that stuff was fantastic, and I loved watching it like live, and it's absolutely brilliant. But for me, who have I got to win? I'm going with Hangman Page, because he needs a win in this series, pretty much. Like, Swerve got the win at Wrestle Dream. He also got the Texas Deathmatch win at Full Gear. So Hangman needs a win in this series to kind of... The thing is, it doesn't even it out. It's just a case of, like, Swerve's already won the series, but Hangman, at the end of the day, is the babyface here. Like, Swerve provoked him. Like, all this happening to Swerve is Swerve's own undoing, essentially. Therefore, Hangman needs to get the win here, not because it means the heel gets the win over the babyface, but because Hangman was the real victim here. Like, Swerve did all the horrible stuff first, and then Hangman is just responding with complete justifiable actions. Well, maybe not setting a house on fire. I mean, I don't know. It's the thing. I don't know. I just feel like Hangman needs to get this win. Kind of gets that win over Swerve. Will they move on after this? Maybe they will. I'm not sure though. I don't get how much more they can do. Like, they've done a wrestling match that was great and Swerve got the win. They did Texas Death where they beat the piss out of each other and Swerve got the win again. They get a steel cage match here where I assume that they are going to absolutely rip each other to shit. I don't know where they go after this, so therefore one of them has to get a definitive win. I feel like Swerve overall has benefited from this feud the most, therefore again it makes sense to give Hangman the win here. But yeah, it's the match I'm 100% most looking forward to, and I can't wait to see what happens. So those are my predictions for All Out 2024. Do put down in the comments down below what you think is going to happen on the show. Are we going to get some surprises? Are we going to get some impromptu matches? I assume we might get some kind of interaction between Darby Allin and Jon Moxley, or at least I hope so. I'm very interested to see where this Jon Moxley stuff goes. I also have a video planned about kind of Moxley's new group type thing he's going for. But yeah, I feel like, I mean, that's going to come out in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, this is a card I'm very much looking forward to. Again, AEW are very much impressed as far as getting a card together so quickly and getting people invested in these matches very quickly. I know that Willow and Statlander's had a long build. Danielson and Perry and Mercedes and Shida have kind of let the card down a little bit. The build hasn't been great, but then you've got the likes of Ospreay and Pac, which everyone knows is going to be a great match. And then obviously Garcia and MJF, Hangman and Swerve are going to be fantastic and have been built almost perfectly, I would say. So yeah, I mean, you know, do put in the comments down below what you're looking forward to the most. Any feedback from me would be appreciated as well. And yeah, I'll ask you to like and subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later on.